FriendSlop is a controversial word, to say the least. Made up by the internet, born from people's selective hatred, fatigue, or just general, even endearing, categorization of this rising meta of video games.
Here comes the money, 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 money. Dollar, 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 dollar.
I've seen the term used quite a lot, but more interestingly, it seems like the general public hates this word, and especially despises the people that use it. This triggered my inner contrarian and sparked this video idea. As someone who genuinely agrees with the word and its use, please keep watching, I wanted to understand the word FriendSlop, to know what counts as FriendSlop, what calling something FriendSlop really meant, and if FriendSlop, or the use of the word rather, is genuinely valid, or if it is just truly made up cope from people who supposedly have no friends. Friendly reminder to subscribe, it's literally just one click away and it would help me out so much. Thank you. One of the main issues with FriendSlop is how difficult it is to define or categorize. Some people, a small number, believe that any game that relies solely on multiplayer with friends to have fun is FriendSlop. And some believe, the majority I might add, that nothing is deserving of the word FriendSlop, that calling anything FriendSlop is wrong, and you just have no friends, you flippin' loser chud. Let's get to the chase. To me, FriendSlop exists, as in there are games that are just low budget cash grabs made to capitalize the multiplayer and streaming scene to make bank. The epitome of FriendSlop. I'm obviously biased, but I mean, look at these games. Come on, you can't tell me this isn't FriendSlop. I see so many people online act so smug about this word, and I would have agreed with the masses about a year or two ago, but it's like every week you see a trailer for a party game that looks or plays very similar to the one that came out the week before, and in 3 days max, they're already cloned on Roblox, and within a month or two, they die out. And a lot of them are actually just textbook slop. It just gets to a point. Hop on Lethal Company. Yo, we're up playing Chain together. We're playing Swamp Swellers. Dude, you should get Belch Brothers. It's only $5. You're gonna get toe rinkless co-op, right? What about walk in a forest for 78 hours while mopping the floors? I saw Queso play it.
I'm happy for him.
There are co-op games that aren't FriendSlop, and there are party games that aren't necessarily FriendSlop. But I don't get how anybody can pretend that some of these new games aren't FriendSlop. It's like everybody is trying to make me feel like I'm losing my mind. Editing Oliver here, this is why you shouldn't make YouTube videos about comments that make you angry. I think the word FriendSlop is just fundamentally controversial. It's like there's a steep gradient of acceptability of the word FriendSlop, where the large majority of people disagree with its use completely, and think the slop part of the word is completely wrong, and that these games are just creative, fun co-op games. And if you disagree and use the term FriendSlop, you just have no friends. Then, as you travel down this gradient, the use of the word FriendSlop becomes more and more strained or unreasonable depending on the game. Look, I made a graph. I've rewritten this script like 3 times now, and if it seems wrong to you, it's because I made this script at 3 AM after getting mad at YouTube comments. Editing me here, I already made that bit. Anyway, I kept trying to tackle each issue with the word individually, but to be honest, it's all messed up, bro. All of it. On one hand, everybody is arguing against the categorization of games that are FriendSlop, and on the other, everyone is against these games being called FriendSlop, period, even though some blatantly are. There's where everyone disagrees, including me. In my opinion, FriendSlop is an absolutely valid word to describe some of these games. They're extremely low budget, shallow, unpolished games that only function and are only enjoyable because you can have fun with friends. And the only reason they're truly popular is because streamers play them. I understand that most people see these games as creative, and some absolutely are, and I understand how hearing games like Peak, Lethal Company, R.E.P.O, Mecha Chameleon, and at worst, upcoming games like Big Walk, which has been in development longer than the existence of the word, by the way, getting called FriendSlop can upset the people that play and enjoy these games or are excited for them. But it really feels like at least some of these games are just flavor of the month type games that people play for a couple of hours before uninstalling. By the way, I played Lethal and R.E.P.O and genuinely thought this. Again, even if they have soul in them, they're just so similar to everything else and carry so many of the FriendSlop attributes that I can't help but sympathize with the use of the word at least slightly. It kind of breaks the definition, but I see fun looking games or even good looking games that I still think are somewhat fair to be called FriendSlop because they fit under this umbrella of rough game only able to be played with friends that plagues the current gaming scene. Although I will admit, plague might be an over-exaggeration. Another point is time. Just look at some of the Steam charts of these games. It's probably a bit unfair because of how wildly different these games are, but look at this one of Peak next to Skyrim, Lethal Company next to Phasmophobia, R.E.P.O next to Barotrauma. And let me remind you, these are the games that are debatably FriendSlop. Games that are arguably good and have at least a modicum of soul. On the other hand, Gambling with Friends, Burgling Gnomes, Scary Cargo, Zort, Content Warning, Bunny Men. Slop, in this context, is the slang term used to describe content online that is considered low effort, mass produced, and low quality. The stuff that pigs eat out of a trough. No one, at least from what I've seen, is saying these games can't be fun because they're slop. The only reason I'm making this video is because people in these comment sections have genuinely angered me with how stupid these takes are, in my opinion. The evidence is just stacked so high for the argument that some of these games, at least some, really are just absolute FriendSlop. The low fidelity 3D graphics, the lack of deep game mechanics, the absolute dependence on multiplayer, especially with friends, to be fun in any way, shape or form. All of these factors just point to these games being somewhat sloppish. I mean, what kind of gem gets thrown out a week after the creation of its existence? Okay, I kind of went on a rant there, the whole video. Let's actually answer the questions at hand. FriendSlop is a subjective term, but I completely disagree with the individuals that believe it's utterly meaningless. Saying you must have no friends, even though it's true, is not an argument. At the very least, FriendSlop as a term is valuable and valid as a way of categorizing this rise in the genre of video games that depend on social interaction almost entirely. I'd go even further and say its use as a quick criticism is valid too. However, I will admit, just calling things slop is not nuanced and can absolutely be unhelpful when it comes to critiquing these games. I see the passion and creation in some of these games. Keyword, some. And it is kinda mean to call someone's beloved creation, looking at you Big Walk, FriendSlop. But again, the elements that fit this word are there. At the end of the day, this is all just my opinion, just like yours or anyone else's. The reason I made this video was because I genuinely wanted to address this idea of FriendSlop. Entire comment sections are just full of people who call anyone that uses this word friendless. These are real comments I found, and there are just so many. Every single argument against the use of FriendSlop is just insulting the people that use it. And it's like everyone is just bothered by the term FriendSlop. If you're gonna get angry and insult anyone who uses this word, which includes me at this point, at least have an argument for your reason. This is a wider issue. So many indie games these days are just chasing trends. Roguelike clones, Vampire Survivor clones, FNAF clones, Souls clones, Among Us clones. These games are designed for the group chat that drops $40 to play them once or twice. For YouTubers to make 1 or 2 videos. For streamers to have easy content for 2-3 days. I feel like this comment here makes a great point. Slop is easy to make content with virtually no depth or complexity. It has nothing to do with the enjoyment factor. People can have fun playing FriendSlop, and that's okay. But nobody is going to write a game review about a FriendSlop game talking about how it's some new revolutionary gem that's a timeless classic or artwork. And no, I'm not saying every video game has to be like that. But why? Why do so many people get angry when you call a game like this FriendSlop? And again, I feel like the people that use this term get way more hate than anybody I've seen use it in a hateful manner. I feel like so many people, including me, are not trying to hate on these games or the people that play them. We're just trying to point out and somewhat critique this rising meta. All I'm saying is that FriendSlop is real. But, counter argument, it's just obvious you have no friends. You just have no friends. I hope this helps. You just have no friends. 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 You're a loser. You're a child. You just have no friends. You just have no friends. Shut up! Shut up! I am actually going to destroy the planet if I read another comment that just says you have no friends, and that's the entire argument that invalidates everybody that says these games are FriendSlop. And no, you don't get to steal another umbrella to put these games under. They're not party games, because party games contain more than one minigame. And they're not just creative co-op multiplayer games, because there are so many of that caliber that are just so much deeper. Oh, bro, I'm actually just looking at these comments and just saying shut up out loud. Just shut up, bro. If calling these games FriendSlop makes me a loser, so be it. If calling these games FriendSlop means I just have no friends, so be it. I am calling these games FriendSlop, and I will use it in a derogatory manner, and I will like it. I feel like this video would be a great submission if you want to nominate me as YouTube's leading schizophrenic. Just keep that in mind. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say. If you do disagree or think I missed something, as always, please comment it below. I genuinely do read my comments, least obvious engagement bait. And the reason I made this video again was because I genuinely believe with all my heart that tossing away and scoffing at the use of FriendSlop is truly just unfair.